Hey guys, uh, if you can hear me, please comment in the comment section. Yeah, we are audible. I think we can wait for 1 more minute uh, so that everyone joins. Okay, so we can start. I think we can start now. So hey guys, welcome to the first session for Android Study Jam series. I am Ankit from Maharaja Agrawal Institute of Technology, and along with me we have Surya from DSC VIT Bhopal and Preet from DSC ADIT. So in this session we will be covering the introduction to Kotlin and we will be building one app, basically a dice rolling app for the beginner session. So let's start with the intro. I will go first. So I'm Ankit and I'm a third year computer science student from Maharaja Agrawal Institute of Technology, and I'm an Android developer. And from the past 6 months, I have been doing an internship with Urban Company as an Android developer. So that's all about me. Next to you, Surya.
Hey everyone, welcome to our live and the first session of Android Study Jams. I'm V. Suryakumar from DSC VIT Bhopal, and today we will be covering Introduction to Kotlin and Introduction to Android Development. I'm a competitive coder and Android developer enthusiast, and let's begin the session with Preet introduction. Yeah, Preet, please.
Hello guys, I'm Preet Thakkar from DSC ADIT, Gujarat. Many of you guys must be knowing me. I'm a cybersecurity analyst, a cloud professional, and I've been practicing Android development since past a month. So let's start our session. First of all, I'd like to know you guys. Well, who you guys are, where you're from. So comment down in the comment box your name and from what college you are from. So let's, I guess,
Preet, you can start presenting your screen.
okay, let's start the presentation directly. Just a moment. Well, we are seeing some names from different colleges. So is my screen visible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So welcome to the first session of this Android Study Gems, uh, new to programming track. We are going to start right away. So this track is for the people with very little knowledge and programming experience. We will start you from right from the beginning, and you will learn how to build simple Android apps in Kotlin. If you already have programming experience, consider prior programming experience track, where the content will be introduced at a faster pace. The links will be shared in the comment box soon. Now, the prerequisites. Assuming you're in the right place, here are some of the prerequisites that will be helpful for this track. Having a basic computer literacy, just powering on and off the buttons, uh, computer, and basic math skills, no integration and all is not required. We're talking here about just some algebraic like plus and minus operators are recommended, and you'll also need computer and an access to internet connection, of course. Then, most importantly, you also need headphones. Wait, why headphones? Because the training also contains some videos to better understand what's actually going on. It's also helpful if you have an Android device, so you can test your computer. USB cable will be needed for connecting your computer to the computer. If you don't have an Android device, don't worry. You can still use your computer to emulate an Android device. So, I'd like to ask few questions to you guys. Uh, how do you know any programming language? Have you ever developed your own Android app? If yes, what technologies do you use? Who would like to share? Share it in the comment section. Oh, Java, Python. I see they aren't all newbies. Also, what kind of apps have you developed? Again, PS, please note, HTML isn't counted as a programming language. Okay. Oh, okay. There are quite some newbies. No worries. Yeah, you'll be needing Android Studio. You haven't developed any app. Cool. Okay. So, hmm, it was great to hear your response, guys. Let's begin with the session. The learning objectives. Let's talk about what you're going to learn in the new programming track of Android Study Jams. First and foremost, the goal is for you to build your first Android apps. To do this, you'll install Android Studio on your computer, which is an application to build Android apps. Along the way, you will be exposed to programming concepts and Kotlin language. At the end, we will also talk about resources on how you can continue learning and building apps beyond this event. Secondly, you will be working through the Android Basics and a Kotlin course. This is a free online training course developed by Google. Hey, did I just say Google? Oh, yes, I did. It is developed by Google for people like yourself to learn how to build basic Android apps. This course is made up of units, and units are composed of pathways. In this track, you'll be focused on the first unit, which is shown here. It has been made up of 4 pathways. In this session, you'll work on the first 4 pathways: Introduction to Kotlin, create your first app, and build a basic layout, along with building a dice roller app. Let's continue. You may be wondering, what is a pathway? Well, It's an ordered sequence of activities to learn a specific skill. An activity can be a video, hands-on coding tutorial, also known as a code lab, an article, or a quiz. Blah blah blah. Man, this definition thing is quite pathetic, isn't it? Let me give you an overview in Hindi. कुछ समझ नहीं आया नहीं, कोई बात नहीं, आसान भाषा में समझाते हैं। मान लीजिए आप स्टेशन का रास्ता ढूंढ रहे हो और कोई बंदा आपसे बोलता है भाई बाजार के बगल में ही है। हाँ, ऑफ कोर्स आई नो थिंग्स अबाउट जीपीएस, दे एग्जिस्ट, डोंट ट्रोल मी। हाँ हाँ, तो बाजार इज लाइक द pathway. It's a landmark to reach your destination. Well, our destination is to guide you to Android development, making your own very own apps by coding. So these pathways are going to help you. Then there's quiz. Quizzes are at the end of each every pathway to check your understanding of what you learned. It's just a simple quiz, just to show you how a simple quiz looks like. Well, there are no limits in the number of retries for quiz. But if you get a question wrong, try to understand what the concept is, even if you need to go back to the source material, therefore answering them again. Then, okay, let me show you something. We'll be giving you some links which will guide you to the Android our Android Study Gems platform, developers platform. There you'll find your own developer profile, which looks like this. The badges you earn can be saved to your developer profile when you're taking the course. So be sure to sign in and create a developer profile if you haven't already. It's a very quick and easy process. As you earn more badges, you can see them at your own developer profile and favorite them as shown here. After you pass the quiz, you earn a badge like this one. So let me first guide you to the platform, which I was talking about. Okay, so is the Android Basics in Kotlin screen visible?
Yep.
So this is the platform where you're gonna start your learning journey, which is known as the developers platform. It's all powered by Google. As mentioned, there are two pathways in this track. Kotlin Basics for Android. In this pathway, you're just gonna put some simple buttons and images into your Android apps. And in the second unit, you're gonna make your very own dice roller app and another calculator type of app. So let me guide you through the pathway. When you sign in, you'll get a brand new badge of even signing up. Isn't it cool? Yeah. Well, I won't get as I've already signed up. So these are the activities of the pathway. These activities, when you complete these activities, you complete your pathway. Let me show you the first activity, Android Basics, Introduction to Kotlin. These are the activities. Okay, so when I said the prerequisites, I was talking about some videos too. Well, these are the videos, very, very informative videos. You can go through them to start your journey. Though they are optional, don't worry. Don't force you to see them. So let me show you a first lab. Yes. So this is how your lab will look like. Write your first program in Kotlin. Your prerequisites, everything. You will run your first code. Well, let me introduce you to something new. Every time we all know that Android apps are developed in Android Studio. That's a heavy lifting program. When you run Android Studio, most of your computers crash because of low memory. Don't worry. We have a workaround for that, a temporary workaround. We'll be sharing you a link to the Kotlin playground. What's a Kotlin playground? Well, Kotlin playground looks exactly like this one. Here in the picture, uh, you can run all your functions or your program over this, and you don't need to. You are not required to download any software. Let me show you how it looks like. Yeah, here's the Kotlin playground. You can press this green button to run a program. Though we aren't actually gonna go on with this for now. Let's get back to started. Just a minute, please. So this is the concept overview starting to. Now that you're familiar with the learning platform and how the course works, let's dive into some important concepts that you will be learning about. First thing, in this course, you'll be learning how to code in Kotlin. Well, what's Kotlin? Kotlin is a programming language that you'll be using to build your Android apps. Kotlin is a modern and popular programming language known for helping developers be more productive. Kotlin allows you to be more concise when writing your code, and you can write safer code that's less prone to errors. Many of us would be like knowing the null pointer exception error, which has been resolved in Kotlin. As a result of many great language features, Kotlin has quickly gained momentum in industry. It is reportedly one of the fastest growing programming languages according to GitHub and ranked as number 4 most loved programming language among the developers, according to 2020 Stack Overflow Developer Survey. Path 1 of the course is focused on helping on understanding the basics of the Kotlin. Well, we all know that to make apps, we're going to need Android Studio. No, we went around this Kotlin program, right? Playground, right? So yeah, this I just show you the Kotlin playground. When you press the green button above, you're gonna get a message. Well, let's. Any prediction of what message you're gonna get? Comment in the comment box, please. Of course, it's the hello world. You're gonna get the program first message. That's the hello world. Yeah, this is the iconic line of the programming world. Pathway 2. Pathway 2 is where you create your Android app. You will need to download and install the Android Studio on your computer. This is the official tool that developers use for Android developer. This is where you'll be writing your Kotlin code and building your apps. Well, we already specified that Android Studio is a prerequisite, and you will have to install it already. Though installation link for Android Studio has would be mentioned in the comment box soon. Don't worry. Then comes the Android emulator. Android emulator is a tool to Android apps. Well, apps don't work directly on Windows or Linux platform. They require an Android operating system. So emulator is like a copy of Android phone on your PC. Well, not exactly a copy of a phone, but any phone. Lastly, in Pathway 3, you will learn the basic concepts of customizing the user interface of a simple app. The user interface of your app includes what the app looks like and how the user interacts with it. The layout of an app is the design or the arrangement of what the user sees in the screen. In Android, a layout is made up of views. Well, layout, what's it exactly? हिंदी में मतलब English is like very boring here. हिंदी में समझाता हूँ. लेआउट मतलब हम जो भी स्क्रीन पे जो देख रहे हैं वो बैकग्राउंड वगैरह जो भी बटन सब कुछ लेआउट में आता है. And then in the layout, it's the child of a layout. It is known as views. Views are everything that you see on the screen within the layout: button, text, images, anything that is known as a view. Yeah. Here are some examples of the type of views. Text view is used for displaying the text, image view for displaying image, and buttons to perform some actions when tapped. Then under the new programming track in the left hand side box, click the green button to start the Android basic course. So I'll guide you to the first three pathways. Then my friends will continue. So let's get this journey started. Okay. So yeah, let me show you an example of the first program. Here's the hello world. You see here it's the output. Okay. Next. You can of course modify your program. Well, I'll guide you by my own. So let me introduce you to an app I have made. That's a happy birthday app. Well, how would that app look like? See, this is an app you can give to any of your loved ones, anybody, to send you a message, send them a message. This screen will appear in their phone. What's the code behind it? I'll guide you through it step by step. Well, what you're seeing is the Android Studio. Well, let me introduce to Android Studio. Here about you is this menu where you will find every useful content of the Android Studio. Then here is the projects and the resource manager pane. Well, what's the project pane? Projects pane is when you create a project, like any app you create is a project itself. It has its files hierarchy. Hierarchy means uh, the setting of the structure where the files will be stored. This is the app name would be here. And then there are manifest files. Many of us might be knowing about these files already. Then there is this Java file under which we have the package name. Well, I name my package happy birthday itself. And then we have this Kotlin file, main activity. Well, at the first we'd be designing a layout. Layout is this design. We'll be making this thing for now. Well, you can split or set up your design layout, whatever suits you. So here, so the layout code is here. Well, what's this language? Well, this language is XML. Many of us might be knowing about this. But let's start. Whatever we are seeing in an app, it, I already told you its layout. Well, current apps use constraint layout. What's a constraint layout? Uh, every view, every text, and every button is constraint in the app with respect to the top, bottom, and left and right borders of the phone or a device. That is known as constraint layout. It's actually attached to the distance is marked from the top and the bottom. It's known as DP, density per inch. So when you wanna insert an image, as I said, we were gonna use image view. Don't worry about these properties. I'll go through them later. Well, what's syntax of an XML? Well, XML syntax is like this. This is the for stack. We are familiar with the HTML, yes. So it's pretty similar to it. This is the tag, and this is its closing tag. Image view. Well, it's conflicting as I have already closed this tag over here, and this code renders useless. So I'm gonna delete this piece. Okay. Then comes the text view. Text view is this text I have written. Happy birthday, buddy. You can write anything that suits you. Then there is another text view at the bottom of the screen from me, from Preet. Well, how do you decide where this text need to be constrained? Like in the top of the screen, in the middle of the screen, it can be anywhere, right? So that's why these properties are for Android ID, Android layout. We'll be going through each of them. First of all, Android ID. What's an Android ID? ID of any view is its address. You'll be mentioning them by this ID. Of course, an ID is always unique identifier, so you cannot use an ID again for any other view. Okay, see, this is a text view, and I have two text views, so I have used two different IDs for them. Then we have this layout width. Well, what's a layout width? Width is like what's the width of that view, and what's the height of that view. These two are almost similar properties. Layout width and height. It describes how that a view should appear on the screen. Well, what's a DP? DP is like a measuring term. We have this meter, centimeter, etc.
Hey, Preet, can you
Yeah.
increase the font size?
Hello.
Yeah, can you increase the font size?
Okay. Try.
Go to the help.
Okay, first, let me just.
You can increase the font size by going to the help and find action and then typing font size.
What?
Find action. Now type font size. Increase font size. Yeah. One more time.
Is it okay? Now is it
Yeah.
clear?
Yeah.
So this is the we were talking about this image view. Well, whatever I select over here, it gets highlighted on the screen. This is the image view. Image is the well, I have set this image as the background of my app. You see that cone thing? Yes, that's my image view. Then I have set the layout width and height as 0, as I didn't want any margin. Okay, so as it's of course the background, so there is no margin. So I have set them both to 0. Well, I know this syntax might be pretty hard for you to digest, but you'll work around as we're gonna use them pretty soon, frequently. So then there's this property important for accessibility. Well, what's accessibility? Many of us know that Android phones have this accessibility features on their developers section, developers menu, which helps them, which helps the user work around the maybe physical with physical disability, helps those users to work around the Android apps. One of the best example is talkback feature of the Android. Well, when you turn on the talkback feature, it reads uh, it reads whatever the content is on the screen. If you mark this important for accessibility as no, then the talkback feature won't read this. Instead, it will skip it. Then we have this Android scale type. What's Android scale type? It's different types of scaling. Well, there are various scaling. We are just going to discuss the center crop. The center crop is aligning the image in the towards the center and filling the rest with the theme color. Then we have got this app layout constraint in the bottom to the bottom of the wall. Uh, now we know phones have different screen size. Like we engineer guys know the measurement things like in centimeter in meter, but it doesn't work over here. We can specify that I want this image just a few inch above this above the screen. No, it doesn't work over here, as all of the phones have different screen sizes, different densities. So for that, we are going to constrain everything with respect to the screen edge, either top of the screen or bottom, and either of the edges, left and right. So where is it constrained? Where is it constrained? Well, it's the image. The image that's presented over here is constrained to the parent. Who's the parent? The constraint layout. The parent of every view. No, not necessarily every view. The parent of the first GA view is always a constraint layout. Well, it's constrained with the parent, which is it will start directly after the constraint layout without any padding and or margin, and will stick with the edges. Then we have this text view. Well, text views are responsible for displaying text on the Android screen. As usual, it has the ID, layout width, and height. Well, there's a new thing appearing on screen. Wrap content. What's a wrap content? It wraps the words when if you write a line that's out of the screen size, well, it shouldn't like cut away. Well, here the wrap content helps. It will wrap the content to start a new line automatically. Then we have this layout margin start. Well, as you can see, this text view, happy birthday, is at a little distance from the edge. Well, this distance is actually 16 dp. As I mentioned, the margin is 16 dp. Layout margin start, which is 16 dp, and from the start is like every app starts from here. The x0 is here, which is, and layout from the top is also 16 dp. Well, this is a quite common attribute. The font family. The font family I have used is sans serif light. You can use any font that suits you. Well, now this is Android text. This represents what you want to write into the string or the text view. Well, I have written happy birthday and comma buddy. Then then here it is, the Android text color. Well, at the rate Android represents the parent directory. Uh, the project directory. In that we have this. See here, this is the project directory. Then every color is stored in the colors.xml file. Let me show you. These are the colors. Well, many of us know that the colors are presented by hex codes. Well, every time you be using this hex codes, it looks quite messy. So we define every hex a name. Well, this hex is defined a name of purple 200 and etc. There are many colors predefined over here. Don't worry, you will have some predefined colors inbuilt. So it's mentioned here that way at the rate Android. It's like mentioning someone on Instagram. Okay. Then we have this Android text size. Well, what's the text size? We can increase or decrease the text size by just modifying this. Let me put it to 54. Yeah. See, as you see, the font is increasing in real time. Also, I can decrease it to as it was. Then we have this constraint start off and constraint top off. As I mentioned you, it determines the constraint from where the view is going to start. So this view is also going to start just after the parent layout. That is the constraint layout. Then we have another text view that is from Preet. Well, my name is Preet. You can set whatever you want to set. Like, okay. So, well, I think I might have given you a quick overview about the layout. So that's it, guys, from my side. So, has anybody got any questions? You can just ask them right away.
You can write the questions in the comment section. Preet will answer in the comment only.
What's DP and SP? But they are a type of measuring. It's like you got that meter and inches, some scales. Okay, first let me answer that one. Well, I'm answering that what is DP and SP? What DP and SP are like the measuring units. You're gonna measure. They're actually units that are respected from the top and uh, the at the edges. The top and the bottom edges, as well as the either edges. That is left and right. It measures the units that way. So, in
I will answer the question. Like in Android, we have DP and SP. I think I will comment in the YouTube only. You can read that. Surya, you can start with your session.
Okay, let's start, everyone. Now we will be learning Kotlin. Have fun, guys. It will be gonna interesting. Trust me. So let's begin. Okay, so here we have with our first question. What's your favorite programming language and why? Yeah, please type down in the chat box. You can type down. Start writing. What's your favorite programming language? We are looking at the chat box. Oh, cool. Python. Yeah, I will go with C++ in my case. Hey, who's that guy who said XML? You are great. Okay, let's do. Okay, Kotlin. Yeah, Python is super easy. Right. Okay, let's keep those qualities in mind throughout the today's session, where you will be learning a new programming language, Kotlin. I hope my screen is
Yeah.
visible. Okay.
audio is not available.
Is audio
No.
available? Okay. No worries about that. We can skip the video. We will be sharing the link to this video. This is a short video which will give you an introduction about what is imposter syndrome. Yeah, this is a complex word, but we will skip this for now. Let's dive into learn Kotlin. Okay, so let's start. What is Kotlin? Let's dive in. Does anyone know anything about Kotlin? Please type down. Keep this session interactive, guys. If you know anything about Kotlin, type down in the chat box. Okay, I guess everyone is new to Kotlin. So let's begin without any delay. Okay, great. So Kotlin is a major programming language that modern programming language we can say that has developer to be more productive. I will give you a little in history about this language. It was started as a project by JetBrains in 2010 and was made open source by the Apache license in with Kotlin 1.0 released in 2016. So the language had quickly gained attention in the developers community and the industry. Also, Kotlin is one of the fastest growing language. Uh, yeah, you listen this right. Fastest growing language. One of the fastest. Come on. Okay. Now, moving over to benefits of Kotlin. Here are some benefits like the Kotlin language is expressive and concise, allowing you to express your ideas with less code. This reduces the amount of boilerplate code in your project. Also, Kotlin helps you to write safer code with features that help you minimize common programming errors like null pointer exception and many other errors. Also, Kotlin is 100% interoperable with Java, which means you can call Java-based code from Kotlin and vice versa. If this also means that if you know how to code in Java, it will be a super easy go to for you to learn Kotlin. Another key benefit that Kotlin offers is structured concurrency. And what is it? They simplify background tasks for management so that everyone from network calls to accessing local data, which will be common from mobile devices and mobile apps. And apart from these major benefits, Kotlin has many great language features, and it is now fourth most loved programming language across the globe, according to Stack Overflow's 2020 survey. So, how does this relate to Android development? Kotlin and Android development, these two things. A short history, and this will help you to understand why we use Kotlin in Android development right now. If you are starting off a technology, learning of a technology, it's important to learn or know a bit about its past also. In 2017, Google announced Kotlin, another officially supported language on Android. And in 2019, Google announced that Android development would be Kotlin first. And what does Kotlin first means? So the new tools and libraries that we will be used in Android apps will be available in Kotlin. To further commitment, Google and JetBrains formed the Kotlin Foundation project to promote advance the Kotlin language. And to be noted, within a span of several years, Kotlin has rapid adoption in the Android development ecosystem. Over 70% of the top 1000 Android apps use Kotlin, and over 60% of professional Android developers use Kotlin. Kotlin is famous, right? Yeah. So on that note, let's deep dive and look at the today's basics of what Kotlin looks like. Oh, we have got a question for you. What does this code do? Yeah, type down in the chat box. What does this code do? Fun main print hello world. Okay, yeah, answers in the chat box. I think everyone is a programmer here, I guess. Great. Okay, heading over. Yeah, you all are right. Absolutely right. It prints hello world. And now we will also learn what is actually going on in the backend. Is cool now? Yeah, cool. Little things about Kotlin that what do you notice here? I will explain you in a short bit. Every Kotlin program requires a main function. A function is declared by using the fun keyword and followed by the name of the function. And we are using a parenthesis here. Uh, if we want to pass any input parameters, we will pass inside the parenthesis, starting with curly braces, and inside the curly braces we use a function body. To here we will put what we want to use in the function. If you are not getting me, don't worry. We will code by hands on hands in this session only. And one point to be note that here is no semicolon. So less errors, less more simplification. Mm, okay, let's take another example of functions in Kotlin. Look at the example, and I guess you can understand most of the part of it. We are taking an input A and B in the parameters, and what we are doing, we are returning the sum of A and B. Yeah, exactly. It's all about that. Within the function body, specify the return statement of the what we are going to return. And if there is no return statement, like here we are returning A and B, and if we don't want to return anything, what in that case? Yeah, we can return unit. Unit is a keyword in Python as a return type. Sorry, yeah, keyword in Kotlin. Sorry. Or for more concise code, you can just omit the return type from the main declaration, as you saw in the main function in the previous slide. Oh, yeah, I saw in the chat box that people are started loving Kotlin. It's cool. Moving over to our next slide. Okay, what I will do, I will move into the Kotlin playground. Okay, just for a second. I guess the my screen is visible. Kotlin playground. Okay, you can find the link to this in the chat box. We have pinned this also, and also this will be available in the comment section. What we are going to do, okay, here we have got an assignment, a simple assignment. uh, just look at the comments. Comments has started with 2/ here, right? We have to implement a subtraction of two numbers inside a function in Kotlin and multiplication of three numbers. Okay, so how to start? Inside the subtract function, we will first take two arguments, A and B. How to take arguments? I am looking at the chat box. You can type down how to take arguments. Typing with A and its return type, sorry, the data type, and another word with return type, and the variable with return type. And here we will be printing what we call return A minus B. We have seen in the previous slide that for addition we are returning A plus B. So here we are returning A minus B for subtraction. Heading over to our next implementation of multiplication of three numbers. Here function is the keyword. This specifies that this is a function, and sub is the name of the function. Inside the parenthesis, we will take input. This is a basic syntax of most of the programming languages. Start here. Okay, so it was a multiplication. So mul. Print down the three numbers, taking input of three numbers, int, and taking b as another number, and I will also take another variable named c. Okay, and what we will do, we will return A into B into C. Yeah, great. I hope now we had implemented these two functions. Let's check if it's running cool correctly or not. Okay, there is a error. Oh yeah, yeah, there is error, right? Because we have not implemented the return type of the function. To as we have seen in the previous slide, we have to implement the return type, that is int. Here also int, which specifies that the function is returning integer. Oh, it's run. Yeah. So difference is 130 is 70. Product of 4 and 5 is and 6 is 120. For now, please don't pay attention to this main function. We will explain this in the next minute. So this all about this. Let's move on to our next slide. Okay. So I think my screen is visible.
Yep.
Okay, let's start. Okay, so let's now discuss about variables. Variables are important in any language. You can declare variable with the var keyword for mutable variables and or immutable variables. If you are not getting what is this, just wait and we will tell you. Use var if you want to change the value is assigned to, like a counter variable. For example, we have assigned the counter variable with 5, and after some time in a code we can change the value from 5 to 6 to 7 to any value. Notice the difference is var and val. There are two types to declare a variable. And what is in the second case we have declared val variable name, the data type Binod. Oh yeah, it's an OP name. So what is this? This is in this case we will not change the value of the string name. Why will we change? It is recommended to use val over var for security purposes, because it's a good programming practice, so the data cannot be manipulated easily. I hope you understand the difference between mutable and immutable. Again, immutable we can change this value, and immutable we cannot change the value of the variable. Okay, head over to the next slide. What's interesting about this declaration is there is any difference between the previous declaration and this one? Hmm, yes, there is. There are also various. This is also a valid way to declare variables in Kotlin. Did you notice the difference? Here we have not specified any data type. In the previous we have wrote int, string, and here we have not specified any data type. We didn't need to specify the length of an integer or the message of a string. Kotlin supports type inference, which means you can omit the type in your code and the compiler will infer it. In this case, the Kotlin compiler can infer that the length of the integer and the message is a string. So we don't need to pass this manually. The Kotlin compiler is doing it by itself. And okay, let's play with conditional statements and when statements. Um, okay, is a condition. If we have a age less than 9, we have to print high risk. If it's greater than 80, it's also high risk. If it's less in between 10 and 79, you are on a low risk. Okay, everyone is thinking about COVID, I guess. Yeah, it's right. So let's play with the statement. What I will do is I will code this in front of you so that we can take a note, or we can see how it is actually going on. let's start. It will be a in a we will complete this in a super go. So how to write conditional statement in Kotlin? We will start with our main function, and inside the main function, what is saying? Okay, let's declare a variable is. How to declare a variable? Val, name of the variable, return type, data type of the variable equal to its value. For now, let's take a value of 10. And I guess you remember that we don't need to specify this extra return type in Kotlin. So we will erase this, or we will keep this for now. We will erase this later. Starting from our conditional statement, if condition here, and if it's true, this will be executed. Else, if condition there, if it's true, this will be executed. So let's write the conditions. The first condition is if age is less than equal to 9, what we have to do? We have to print high risk. I hope everyone is getting it. If anyone have any doubts, please write down in the chat box. If age is greater than equal to 80, 80, then what's this? We will be printing high risk. And in the next case, what we will do, if you remember the previous slide we have mentioned, if age is less than 9, high risk, greater than 80, high risk, and if it's in between, we will print low risk, right? Okay, I hope now is you get all, you got this. Let's try playing. Okay, low risk. Let's write our age to 99. We have a senior citizen here. High risk. Okay, it's working cool as we expected. And what if age is 0? High risk. So this is all about the conditional statements. Also here we will play with fun statement. Oh, sorry, when statement. Okay. Now what I am writing in this screen, please note, we will not run this code. This is only to illustrate you what is when statement. This is when, and we pass a variable named x. In when statement, what we will do is that instead of in when statement, what we will do is instead of uh, you writing long if else branches, we will decrease the code, we can say. Like in C or C++, in Java, we use switch statement. If it's 1, we use AND game. If it's 2, we use move next. And for example, if it's 3, the last example, we will skip turn. Oh yeah, so it's a simple, or either case we have to write if 1 then AND game, if 2 then move next, if so, if so, if so. So it's a shortcut, we can say, or it will also help. Make sure to pass the x or the variable that we have checking inside a when statement. If you are not getting it, or if you want more practice, don't worry. Code labs in Android Study Jams course are covering everything from scratch. It will just to give you glimpses of what it actually is going on. Okay, now heading over to our next thing. Just let me change the slides. Okay, yeah, right. Let's play with loops. Okay, so this in this portion we will study what is loops all about. In Kotlin, for loops are used to iterate over ranges, array, maps, and so on. Anything that provides an iterator. The syntax for loop is shown here. and there are different ways to iterate it. For the for loop can iterate over the through the iterators. For example, here we will show you looping uh, through three of the statements: through a range, through an array, through a string. Awaj. Oh, sorry. So through a range, which we will be implementing the Kotlin playground. Just wait a second. We will be implementing this all. In the okay, just wait. Yeah. I guess we can see the our Kotlin playground in my screen. I will complete this in a quick hurry. Will not delay anything. So let's start. What we have to do? Anyone remember the next previous slide? We have to print some of the statements. Like we have to demonstrate what how for loops work. So start with the main function. Remember, this is a must function and necessary function to write writing code in Kotlin. So through a range, how I'm going to do this for to avoid any delay, I am writing it down and I will explain you. 1 2 6. I guess you now let's run this code. What it is doing? Oh, it's printing everything on its own. So what this main function is doing, for I is a variable and starting from 1 to 6 and printing the variable in the screen. So starting from 1 2 3 and 4 to on to 6, it will print, it is printing everything. Let's do some little experiments with it. I'm putting a blank print statement for the gap, and for I in, what I'm going to do is 6 down to 1, print I. Let's see what it's going to do. Okay, 6 5 4 3. It is printing from 6 to 1 in a backward direction. And if I write ln here, it will use it as a print line. So every word in a single line here in the output from 6 to 1. And also I will going to show you one more thing, that is looping through an array. How it is going to do? Let's just initialize an array where language, not language, okay, cool name, cool names, and array of name with Jeff, name is Elon, Gates, and we have another our coolest name, Vinod. So start. After declaring this, what we are going to do, we are going to iterate over this array. For now, if you're not getting how did we have declared this array array sort of thing, don't worry, this will be covered in the code labs. Now for item in cool names, we are printing item. Okay, yeah, see, so in an array of items starting from Jeff, Alone, Gates, and Binod, is printed everything in the chat, in the console, Jeff and all these names. Yeah, that's actually range, these two dots. Or in Python, we used to say in range, or in any other languages, we wrote this range from 1 to 6. If you know any other languages, or in a Python specifically. And I will show you the looping through another example. This is the last one for looping through a string. So like what it this, let's declare a variable. Any guesses, any name of the variable? Okay, let's name a variable controversy. Okay, okay. So we have to iterate over this variable and print each letter. So starting from for letter in controversy is letter. Let's see. I hope now you are getting familiar with the for loop. If you want to try this, you can in your new tab code along with me. For letter in controversy, controversy is this the variable, and we are printing the letter. Let's try playing this running this. Guess the output. It will have to print KANGANA in a separate lines. KANGANA. Cool. That's what we want. So okay, just a second. So this is a glimpses of what for loop is all about. Let's move on and start learning list. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, list. So this is our second last topic. What we are going to learn in Kotlin. Um, do you notice the difference? I have written two statements here. Okay, just you have seen int and strings or other data types. They allow you to store a certain type of value within a variable. But what if you want to store more than one value? In this case, we have a list data type, which is also super cool. Mutable list and immutable list. There are two types of lists. Mutable lists are the lists that can be modified after creation, like mutable variable and immutable variable. You can add, remove, or change items. You can do everything you want from with a read-only list as well. This is an example of what list is. A functionality specific to list is that you can access each element of a list by index. Mark the reference. The index starts with from 0 to the last element. This is a diagram of number list showing each element and its corresponding index. For example, when you say list 2, list of 2, it will actually go on to second index, and from second it will go on to third. And I will show this all in the Kotlin playground. Before that, I guess we are short on time, so we will move on to our next topic, which is classes. Yeah, this is our last topic that we are going to learn. So far, what we have learned functions, variables, conditional statements, loops, list, and now classes. I know you may have thinking like you have not learned everything about it. Yeah, it's a feeling. When you actually do code in your own in the code labs, you will learn everything. What is classes and instance? As you write, please pay attention. This is a important concept. You will need to understand what classes and objects are. You can think of class like a blueprint. It contains instructions on how to create something. From the dice blueprint, you can actually create dice. More specifically, the dice class contains the details like properties a dice have. Example, dice is a class, and it will contain some properties like um, roll function and number of sides. And from the one class, you can create many objects you want called instances. You can take this example like you can use this analogy. A blueprint of a house contains an instruction on how to create a house, and but the blueprint is not the house itself. The actual house is a object instance that you can create multiple houses object instances from a same blueprint. Using a same blueprint, you can create multiple object instances. This is a this is what looks like. Okay. Kotlin supports both functional and object-oriented styles. And what do I mean by functional is that we have been coding since using function main and all. And what is object-oriented programming? The use of classes and objects. For OOP, you can create classes and object instances as shown here. To be noted, in Android development, for the most of the part, we will be only using OOPS concepts, OOP, what's called object-oriented programming. So it's important for everyone in programming world to know and to get better grasp in this context. Within a single line of code, we can define a class called square, and it has one property, the length of the side. Then we can instantiate a square object instance with a length of 10 and store it in a variable called s. Okay, we can do is we can write down this code in our Kotlin playground, and I can show you what it will look like when we actually run it. So let's start with our last and most important tutorial in Kotlin. After this, we will be head on to create a actual app from scratch. It will be a super quickly. So have patience. I'm sharing the screen again. Yeah, I guess now you can see my screen of Kotlin playground. What I will do is I will give you what is all about classes and all this classes stuff. Okay, yeah, let's start. As we know, we have to have every time we have to start with a main function. Please note, we are not declaring class inside square inside this main function. Not here, because class is a different entity. It's a totally a whole different topic. So not a topic, but to keep it simple, क्लास के अंदर ही फंक्शंस होंगे. सो हम क्लास को फंक्शंस के अंदर नहीं रख सकते. सो वी आर कटिंग दिस फ्रॉम हियर एंड क्लास लाइक इट्स अ ब्लूप्रिंट. तो घर के अंदर ब्लूप्रिंट नहीं बैठेगा. सो क्लास स्क्वायर, what it will do, we will take a variable val site of type integer. No, this time double. What is double is double, like we have learned in int, and in double we can use decimal values also. For example, 24.2, 5.3. uh, in integer, it's not integer value, it's a, I don't remember actually maths what it's called. Okay, so it's a double. Keep it inside it. I am creating a variable parameter, perimeter, and it's a type of int. What it's doing is side into 4, and also a function, a last function inside this area. And what this area will do, this will return what we need, sides into sides. This is the formula of area. I hope everyone remember this. Before running this, we have to keep note of two things. The first one is that when we are returning any statement inside a function, like here, we need to specify the return type. So specifying the return type integer, no, double here. Return type means the data type what we are returning. And inside in the second, it's the first thing, and the second thing is that we need to create an instance. For example, if I try running this code, it will not work, right? It should not work. Also double here. How it will work is that we need to create an object. I am creating an object diagram1. What's his name? Square square. Okay, any guesses? Let's name the side of the square is 29. Okay, it's a guess only. So let's try running. If anything, okay, sides. Yeah, there is. I hope you can understand the error. What went wrong? I've declared here side, and I'm multiplying sides. Type error. Okay, please ignore this. And 29. Okay, cool. Oh, the Kotlin is playing with me also. Yeah, it went for it run properly. 29.346, a random number. Now let's print diagram1 dot perimeter. Okay, so is the perimeter. See, it has calculated this on its own. What we can do is, let's create another instance of the class square. We can create as many of the instances we want of this class. Also, we can hide this class also. So square with a side of 0.154, a random side. And what? Okay, sorry. It's the diagram 2. And what we will do is we will print the perimeter of diagram 2. Perimeter. Okay. Now I am printing using the print line statement. Let's see what it look like. Yeah, it's printing the perimeter. That means the, or we can say the diameter or the boundary of the square. And the last function and the coolest thing, area. Okay. Okay, now how to pass this area function? I will show you. Print. We have to what we need to print. We have to print the area of the first line, first diagram, as it is diagram 1 dot area. Okay, yeah, it's printing down the area. Also, I will keep it more simple. Start with the area is this and this. Okay, yeah, the area is okay. Just a second. Diagram 1 dot area. I should written this statement. Okay, yeah. So the area of the first square is 861 point so and all. Also, I will do print the area of the second function, or second diagram, I can say. Please hold on, everyone. This is the last thing we are going to do in this class thing. And after this, we will be actually building a app in front of you. The area of this, that, that, and that. Please don't follow my types of naming. So the area of the second slide with a perimeter of 0.612 is 0.023409. Yeah, that's all about this class thing. I'm sure stopping the screen sharing. Okay. Okay, if you have any questions, just ask down. If you have any questions about the Kotlin, please ask here. Anyone have any questions about this? The Kotlin thing? Please type down in the chat box. Okay, what is double? Double is a data type, which means that we can use pointers and not decimal values also. For integers, we can use 5, 4, 3, any value, an integer value. And in double, we can use decimal values from 5.23, 5.16, and so on. Can you put the open curly braces in the next line? I didn't get the question. Okay. Are string templates of JS available in Kotlin? Yeah, they are available. How to make an app? So stay tuned. We are just going to this portion. So I think we should move on to creating an app actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ankit. Okay, sure. You please share the screen.
Is the screen visible?
Yeah.
So what we are going to build is a dice roller app. As you can see in the PPT, the UI would be similar to this one. So whenever, am I audible now?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. So whenever someone clicks on the roll button, we will generate a random number and display on the dice. Okay. And this is the portion of the unit one and the last badge, that is Android Basic. So let's get into the app only. So basically, what is an activity? I should tell this. So activity is a screen with which user interact. Like whatever you see in whatever you see in an app, you see in an activity. So that is basically an activity. All right. Let's start with the app thing. So I'm starting from the basic. First, you would open the Android Studio, create new project. You will select empty activity. Okay, go to next. We will name this as Dice app. Okay, here you will select Kotlin as the prime because we are using Kotlin. Here is the minimum SDK. Minimum SDK means what is the minimum Android version that you are going to support. So, like if I mention minimum SDK version 10, like 8, the app will not run on Android version below 8. Okay, so I will choose minimum SDK like 5 because it is supported. As you can see, your app will run on approximately 94% of the devices. So I'm choosing Lollipop. You can choose a lower version also, KitKat or Jelly Bean. So for now, this doesn't make any difference for us because we are just testing stuff. So the Android Studio is making the boilerplate code ready for us. So this is the basically the code structure. I will be telling what is generated and what we have to do and where we have to write the code. So let's start with the. You can see there are two things on the screen. I will make the font larger font size, increase font size. Perfect. Mm, yeah. So I think this should be visible. For an application, there are mainly two files that we are going to change for now. These are that is a main activity. I told you for an app there is an activity with which we interact. Whatever we see in an activity. All right. So an activity has two things. One is the this code, the main activity code, class code, and a layout file. So activity has two things: an activity itself and a layout file to display the view. Okay. So first of all, we will create the layout. I should tell about what is the structure of the code. So this is the Android view. Here you can change to project also, but best thing is Android. So in Android, there are all the Java code, all the Java or Kotlin code is available in the Java part, and all the layout file, that is the UI part, is available in the resources directory. Okay, so this is the layout, that is activity underscore main, the UI part of the activity. We will create our dice rolling app. So basically, we have to create this UI. So this UI consists of two things. One is the image, that is the dice image, and the other thing is the button. Okay. And to place some views, these both of these are views. To place a view in a UI, we have to use a view group. View group is basically a parent view. So we will use constraint layout as a parent layout of the view group. So basically, view groups contains multiple views and their like positioning, where they are positioned relative to each other. Okay. There are two options available. You can either create a UI using the design part and using the code also. I mostly prefer the code part. So I will be using code part, but you can use design also. You can just drag a button, drag it here, drag and drop, like this button. You can drag it and place it here. So this is placed here. As you can see, the button part is available here automatically. So you just drag and drop things and it will be visible, and the code for that is written automatically for you. But I would prefer you should also use like the editor part. So I will be making a layout. So this is the constraint layout, that is the parent layout. So what we did is we set the width and height, like how much width and height it should take. We have set it to match parent. So what happens is it will take the entire screen, like the whole screen. Okay. Okay. Then I will in this constraint layout I will create a view. Okay, this view is covering whole complete screen, like this complete screen. I will create a new view, that is an image view. You can see there is suggestions. We can use the suggestions. Here we have to mention two things on priority, that is the layout width and the layout height. So for our image, let's say we are keeping the layout image as 150 dp. Dp is the unit for width and height that we use in Android. Let's say this is also 150 dp. It is a square image. Okay. uh, these are the primary things that we have to mention. Another thing that we have to mention is, if you are using a constraint layout, we have to mention the constraint, like where this is a image, that is a square image. Where is the right side is attached to, where is the left side attached to, where is right side attached to, where is the top attached to, and bottom. So we will mention that using constraint, mentioning constraint. So you can write constraint start is basically left. We use start and left, both are similar. So we will use constraint start to start off the parent is the constraint layout. Okay. Then constraint end to end of parent. Okay. So left is attached to left, right is attached to right, top is attached to top. So we will do uh, constraint top to top of parent. So the top is attached to top of the parent, and the bottom to bottom of parent. These are required for a constraint layout, else it will show, if I remove these and close this tag. This is open tag, this is self closing tag. Okay. So I've closed the tag, it is showing an error, red message. So the view is not constrained, so we have not mentioned how this view is attached to the parent. So when we mention this constraint, like how it is attached, how this is present in the view group, that is the constraint layout. So we have mentioned this using this. And for a view, to access this image view in our Java code, like the Kotlin code, we have to mention an ID. So we will be mentioning an ID. Let's say for an ID we have to use @ plus ID/. This is the syntax that we have to use. And after that we have to mention the ID that we want to give. Let's say we give image underscore view, ID of image underscore view. So what happens here is, this image is this you can see here, this image view is aligned at the center of the constraint layout. Okay. If I, let's say, remove this constraint bottom to the bottom of, what will happen is this image will be get uh, attached to the top of the view group, as you can see here. Okay. If I remove the start constraint, what will happen, it will be present in the top right of the screen. You can see here, top right. You can play with this constraint and learn about how they are behaving, and explore how they are behaving. This will really help you to design views. So after if I mention all the constraint, like top, bottom, start, end, uh, this will be a center line. Okay. That's what we wanted. We wanted our image or the dice to be at the center. After that, this is the image view, where we will be this image view is a view only, and this image view is used to display the image. Okay. So we will be using this. And after that we have a button, you see in the UI. So button. And what is the width height we have to mention. So if we want to set the width height to the text that is available, like the text we wanted to show is role. If we want the size of the button to the size to be the size of the text that is available, we will use wrap content. And if we want the button to be the size of the complete screen, we will use match parent, like you can see in the design. You can see the button is now taking the complete screen, and if I write wrap content, it will be taking some space we will be mentioning the text about. What is the height? We will use wrap content because we don't want a use button. After that, what I mentioned is we need constraint. If we are using a constraint layout, we have to mention the constraint. So I will be using constraint start to the start of parent. So what happens here is this will be attached to the left of the screen. Okay, now I will use constraint end to the end of parent. What will happen is this will be center aligned horizontally, like you can see this is in the horizontal center, but we want it below the image. So what we will use here is we will mention a constraint. We will mention the top constraint. We will mention that the top of this button should be below this image. So what we will do is constraint top to bottom of. We will use this property constraint top to the bottom of, and we will mention the ID of the view, like this view. We want this button to be below this image, so we will mention the ID here, image view. So please note that here when we were mentioning the id attribute, we were using at the rate id at the rate plus id slash syntax. But when we are mentioning constraint to which view it should be constraint, we are not using plus here. You should note that. Okay, and I will give a let's see the UI how it is looking. So you can see this is the button and this is the image. This is attached to the image just below. So what we want is we want some margin. So we will mention margin top because we want margin from the top. So we will mention, let's say we want 30 dp of margin. You can see the UI now, like this button is 30 dp away from the image. This is perfect, that is what we wanted. I think that's it. That's the UI part, and we will need an id to reference this button in the Kotlin file. Okay, so we will use like button, we will give an id as button. You can see the UI here. The design is here. This is the image that is center aligned, and below this, there is a button that is horizontally center aligned and attached to the image, bottom of the image, and with a margin of 30 dp. All right. So you can explore this UI part by mentioning more things. To this button, we want to see a role, the text role. So what we will do, we will mention an attribute named text. So we will mention the text here. Let's say this is role. So you can see now you can see the design here. The button now contains role. All right. So basically this is the basic setup. Next is this is our Kotlin file. So like in other programming language, I'm just giving a resemblance that you can. This is not exact explanation. I'm just giving you a similar thing that you use in other languages. Like you write a program, you write in main function. Similarly, for now, let's say we write whenever we write a code in Android, we write in on create. All right, so we will write our code in the on create. So we here what we are doing is we are calling the super dot on create. So super dot on create means that we are inheriting from app compat activity. All right, so we are inheriting from extending from app compat activity. So we are calling the super dot on create. So this app compat activity is already present and developed by Android itself. So we are calling the super, the function of the on create function of the parent class, because that contains some necessary code to create and run the app. So we are calling the parent activity on create function. All right. So next is we are setting the container view. So basically this is the activity. This is the activity. What I told you is activity is what we see and what user interacts to. So to this activity, what is the view? So we are mentioning here that the view is activity underscore main that we have created here. So we are mentioning that the view for this activity is this. So what happens is set container view. What this does is this inflates this UI, this UI into this activity. All right. So now let's run this app. Let's see what we will be seeing. This is my device. Uh, it's building. Till then, I'm just writing some more code that we will use in future. I'm creating a reference to the button that because I need to access the button and do some actions on the click on of that button. So let's say I create a variable. That is a uh, I think the app is up and ready. You can see a button here. I can click that and an image that is not visible because we haven't mentioned any image here. And we can see the button. On the click of this button, there is nothing happening. This we have to set here. All the responsiveness of the applications come from the Kotlin code, and the UI part comes from the XML code that we wrote. All right. So let's say let's create a reference to the button. So we are creating a variable. We will use late init var. So what late init var is, we are mentioning the Kotlin compiler that we will initialize this variable later, and for sure that is our responsibility. You do not need to care. Okay, so we are using late init var button. All right. And what is the type of this? We are using button. All right. Okay. And another thing that we are using a image view. All right. So we will use let init var image view to display the image, and that is of the type image view. All right. So we have created these two variables. Using these variables, we will access these image view and change these views dynamically according to the number generated. All right. uh, here, after we will be doing things after this set content view. So what happens is the all the UI part is inflated. Now we will take a reference to the button that is present in the this XML file. So how we will do this? So we will use button. We will initialize this button. So we will initialize this button by using a function that is present in the activity, that is find view by id. So as you can see, we have already previously we mentioned an id. We will use this id to take reference of this image view, like button. First of all, this button, so the id for the button is, we have to use r dot id dot button. So this is the id that we mentioned, and this is the syntax. Okay, so r dot id we have to use like this only. So r dot id dot underscore, this is the actual id that we have declared in the xml file, as you can see here. So by using this id, we can take reference of this button, and we can also initialize our image view, that is image view equals to, similarly, find view by id. What this find view by id does is, it finds the view, that is present in the xml, and make this button refer to this view. So let's what is the id for the our image view? So the id is r dot id dot image underscore view. As you can see here, we have mentioned here ids, both of these ids. All right. So this thing is done. All right. So let's build our app. I think there is nothing going to be changing. There is nothing changed. Let's see. Everything is same, just we have the reference to these buttons. Okay, now we will respond to the click of this button. So let's say for now we will to handle a on click on a button or any view. To handle a click on any view, we will use button. उसके then we will use dot operator, and there is a function set on click listener. So we will use set on click listener and press enter. In this, whatever we mention in this curly braces, this will be executed when there is a click on this view, that is a button. So let's say for now we are showing a toast message. Toast message is um, you will see it. Let me do this. So this toast is a message, like if you want to display some content or text, we some information, short information, we can show it using the toast. So this takes two things. One is the context. For a context, we can use this activity also. Context is telling the view what is the state of the app. So for this, we use the context as this activity as the context. So we want to use this activity, you can use the keyword this. So this mentioned that use this activity as the context. Okay, and then we will be showing the message. We will be show that message clicked. All right, and then we have to mention how much time the toast message should appear. So we will use the short. This is the duration that is mentioned, and after that we will call show. So what will happen now when I run the application? Uh, as you can see, when I click on this, you can see a toast message. This is a toast message that clicked. You can see I mentioned here clicked. Let's say I mention here hello. Now when I click on the button, whatever instructions are written in this curly braces will be executed. Instructions in the curly braces will be executed. So when I click here, you can see now the text is hello. All right, so now the our button is responding to the clicks, but there is no image. So let's get some images. So I have downloaded some images already. I have put them here, image dice images. So these are the images you can see here. These are the image for 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5. So what we will do, we will copy these images and get it, paste these images into our project. Let me copy this, copy. How to paste these in our project? We can go to the, as I told you, all the UI part will be present in the resources. Okay, and all the like images or assets we will paste in drawables. All right, so we will go to drawable, right click on this, and paste it here. Okay, refactor. So the images are visible here. So you can see the images. So I can now go to the layout, and this image, I can set this image. So the attribute to set an image to an image view is src source. This is at the rate drawable. Let's say for now we are using dice one. Okay, let's run the app. Let's see what is. You can see in the design here that image is visible now, and in the app after running, you can see image is available. And on clicking on the roll button, the instruction in the curly braces is executed, that there we are doing is toasting text that is hello. All right, so now what we have to do is we have to generate a random number. All right, so let me do it all right. For now, let's create a random number. So in Kotlin, there is a var range. Let's say sides of dice. Let's say the sides are 6. I'm taking a constant. Let's say this is for a constant. We will use val. All right. So I have declared a val side of that is its data type is integer. All right. So now what I will do is I will pick a random number from 1 to 6. All right. So this thing I will do whenever I click on the button. All right. So in the curly braces of the set on click listener, all these things will be executed. So what I will do, I will create a random number. Okay, that is, pick that random number from this range 1 till sides of dice, and a random number from that is random. So what we are doing is we are creating a random number from 1 to the sides of the dice, that are those are 6. We can have a dice of maybe 8 sides or anything. So for the real case, we are using this as 6. So I am picking a random number from 1 to 6, and that I am storing it in random number variable random number. All right. So let's say let's now print the random number in the toast. All right. So we will write random number is, we are using the syntax dollar and the variable, that is random number. Let's see if we are getting random numbers in the range of 1 to 6 on the click of the button. So the app is running. If I click on the roll, you can see random number is 2. If I click again, random number is 5. If I click again, random number is 3, 2. Okay, so you can see we are getting a random number via this function, and we can see the number is generated very easily. So next thing what we are going to do is, or whatever the number is corresponding to that number, we will display the image of the dice. All right. So we have the number. So what we will do is we will use a when statement, as Surya told you. We will use when random number. This is the syntax. When random number is 1, then do this. When random number is 2, do this. Wait a second. When random number is 1, do this. Whatever is present in the curly braces. When that is 2, do this. When that is 3, do this. When that is 4, I'm just doing the same stuff. All right. So I have created the boilerplate now. So what happens here is, we are creating a random number. All right, from 1 to 6. Depending on that number, we will execute some statement. All right. So what we are going to do is, depending on that number, we will set the image corresponding to that number. All right. So we will take reference of the image view to change. As I told you, to change a view dynamically in the Kotlin code, we will take the reference of that view. Here we have initialized the view. So we are using the image view dot, and there is a function to set the image. The function is resource image, set image resource. So we are using set image resource, and for one, the image resource is r dot drawable dot, the name is dice underscore 1. All right. So similarly we will do this, paste this in all the others. Actually, we don't need curly braces for a single statement. Like, we can just simply do this only in Kotlin. But if you are doing like 2-3 lines of executing 2-3 lines, uh, like here, if you are doing, like here, if you want to toast something, uh, it is preferred. Okay, it is like this is giving me errors because it doesn't identify or like uh, this statement belongs to which portion. So to mention that, we have to use curly braces, right? Like this. Now we can mention that like this one, this toast here. Now this doesn't gives us any errors. All right. So we are just we don't need this portion. I was just telling you about. All right. I will change the image corresponding to the number. Like for the number two, the dice image is underscore two. For that, three is we have three, we have four, we have five, we have six. Now, if I run the app, for now there is no change in the image. But if I run the app now, if I click on one roll, you can see the number generated is 4 and the image is changing. If I click again, the number generated is 4 again and the image is same. The number generated is 2, the image changes also, as you can see. So this is the basic app that we have created, like creating a random number and changing the image, handling the click on the button. All right. So the code, all the steps and the code is available on the code lab. You can refer that in case of any doubt. And I would highly suggest you to implement this and play with the constraint layout, like how it is behaving if I remove this, how what will change, like this. So that's it for the dice app. Let me. You can ask any doubts if you have. Also for the you can ask your doubts in the comment section if you have any. Uh, you can use both drop down and you can use both drop down and the code section to write the UI part. Which website will you advise to download? Uh, Okay, so you can go to the code lab, and there is all the solution code is also present there. You can download the code, and you can go to let me show you. I have downloaded the same. Like this is the downloads. I downloaded this from the code lab only, and this is a zip file. Open this. Go to the dice roller. Go to the app, go to source, main, and then resources that I told, and then as you saw, I pasted all the things in the drawable. So this is the drawables. All these images are available here. So you can download and copy these from here, or I will just upload these on the GitHub. You can download from there as well. Can we add some animation during? Yeah, you can. You can add animations also.
Just search in the Google Android animations. You will be see some GitHub repo.
Yeah.
You
Any other questions? Should I upload the project on GitHub? Can you? Yeah, this one is answered. Any other questions? Uh, so I will just quickly upload the code on GitHub. You can refer that or change into this or download the assets from there. Yeah, I'm I'm just sharing my screen. You can see that how I'm doing maybe. Let me see where this is Android beginners. Mm, I will just upload the assets first. Okay, I just this is the drawables. I have you mentioned the repo, guys? You sure it's Mac or cause I'm Surya? Have we shared the repo link or should I?
Yeah. No, I shared the link.
Okay, let me.
Guys, please check the live chat. If you have any questions, please type down. Like, yeah. Same. There are some other frameworks like Dagger and Ankit know more of them, so he can answer for large scale projects.
Which is best framework for large scale project? Like which framework you are talking about? For what is the use case? What is the use case of framework? Like I don't understand your question. One question, can you use percentage or pixels or EMS as unit? Yeah, you can use pixels also, but it is recommended to use DP or SP as different devices have different screen resolution, and depending on that, pixels will vary. But the DP will be the same for all these, so you should always use DP and SPs. Which is better for beginners, Java or Kotlin? You can start with any Java or Kotlin. Like if you know Java, you can easily switch to Kotlin. It will be very easy, and vice versa, Kotlin also.
Kotlin is not another question. Why Kotlin is alternative for Java? It's not an alternative. We can use both of the languages.
Yeah,
Even in major projects, Kotlin and Java run side by side. And they talking about the benefits of Kotlin, as I mentioned in the slide. It is readable, short code, and some of the
null
more
save.
benefits.
And the
Null,
best
yeah.
part is like the null save. That thing is the best. So, any other questions?
I think everyone is empty with their questions.
So we can close the session now.
Yeah.
I would suggest you guys to go to the code lab. There is great content. You can start with the code lab and complete the code lab and the badges. And one thing that we miss to mention is when you complete track 2, you will be eligible for a certificate from Google. So I would encourage you to complete the track 2 to get that. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you for attending the session. I hope you would like
Thank you,
learn.
everyone. We will wind it up here.
Those who finish track 2 will get certificate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.